Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of These Homesteads. Today we're out here brush hogging the fields. And for those of you who thought the view was awesome down below, I really think this is probably one of the best places up here. Part of the reason why I bought this place, because the view from up here is just amazing. So this whole thing, whether you can see it or not, is sort of on a slope right there. So it sort of slopes down over the hill. One of the reasons, I'm not sure if you guys watched the original episode where we were attaching the brush hog or the grapple here onto the front of the tractor. But I told you guys that whenever we did the brush hogging video, I'd explain why I like to keep the grapple on whenever we're out here brush hogging. The reason for that is, if you look, it stays fairly low to the ground. Usually I have it a little bit lower than that. And there's a lot of fawns and stuff that like to lay out here in these fields, especially during the day. So in order to try and help get them up before they get ran over by the brush hog, I keep the grapple on, usually keep it down fairly low to the ground. That way, that big grapple coming up over top of their heads, usually they'll get up and take off. So that's the reason why I keep that grapple on there. It's to help protect the deer that are out here. So, all right, well, I'm gonna put this back onto the tractor here and we're gonna get going. You guys have a pretty good view from up here, so let's get going. Yep. No music. And it's funny how I'm on vacation, but those dingings on my phone, it's been going off all day, and that's work. Apparently, they forget I'm on vacation. So when I bought this place, they had mowed these fields down right before I bought the place, whenever they put it up for sale. But a lot of these fields were really overgrown. Have a lot of weeds and stuff like that growing in them. Not really a lot of good grasses and stuff. Right now though, just by coming out here and keeping them mowed up and stuff, I've gotten them back pretty good. My goals eventually are to get some cattle and put on here. Probably still a couple of years out from that, but the goal is, as long as I keep mowing these fields up, the fields will get better and better and the weeds will go away and we'll be able to actually have good food for the cows whenever they're out here. So those are my goals for right now. How long is it going to take to get there? I don't know, but my plans are when I retire, hopefully I'll just be homesteading and making YouTube videos for you guys, and that'll be it. But we'll see what happens. Not sure if that'll work out or not. Still got several years before we get to that point. So if you see me keep looking back, A, is to check the brush hog, make sure I didn't accidentally bump the lever and it go down or go up or whatever, that it's not too high or too low. But also, I'm mounting the camera to the back glass, and I prefer that I actually don't lose it, but so I'm sure running underneath through the brush hog probably isn't going to be very good for a camera. So we'll see how this works. I don't know. We'll try it. Hopefully we don't lose a camera, but luckily if we do lose a camera, it's not the good one. The good one's in here. It's the older one. It's not quite as good, but it still, it does good. It takes good pictures and stuff. I know a lot of people use different types of cameras and stuff like that. Right now, I'm just using GoPros. Just want to send them back a message saying, do you not realize I'm on vacation? But sooner or later, I'll have to stop and look and see what they got to say. Now, if you can see the difference in the grass here out in front of us, between the grass here and that grass up there, the reason being, that whole area right there sort of separates our food plots down on the other end from what eventually will be pasture up here on this end. So what we're trying to do is let this whole section, there's a lot of holes and stuff in there, so it's sort of hard to mow anyhow, but we're sort of letting this whole section over here off to our right, we're sort of letting this whole section go back up and turn back into whatever Mother Nature turns it into. So we're just sort of letting it go. I talked about at one point in time maybe planting a bunch of apple trees and stuff in there. I don't know. There's a lot of crab apple trees and stuff like that out here already. There's a lot of apple trees in those woods right behind us. I talked about planting it all in like black walnuts, will grow up, and eventually down the road my kids or my grandkids or whoever could timber it and make decent money off of it. Talked about putting in oaks. My son-in-law sort of hints around he'd like it with some pines for the deer. I don't know. I haven't decided. If you have any good ideas though, leave a comment down in the comment section down below. And if you haven't had a chance yet, please go on, hit that like button, click subscribe, share this video with your friends. That's the stuff that helps me build my channel and lets me know you guys are enjoying what I'm putting out. If you have any advice, please give it to me. I'm not afraid to take some criticism, so if you have some advice, share it. If you have any pointers, tips, tricks, whatever, even on editing on iMovie, because I'm still trying to learn that. I'm hoping I'm getting a little better, but I don't know, we'll see. Right now the goal is just get this all mowed down. Typically, the very first mowing of the year, I usually let it get fairly high. It goes to seed, I'll mow it down, all that seed spreads, produces more grass. After this mowing, I don't usually let it get this high again. If you want to know about how high this grass is, when I was out there standing in it to walk out to do the introduction there, it's about up to my chest, and I'm 6'2", so it's probably about 5'5". So about 5.5 feet or so, 5 foot, somewhere in that neighborhood, 4.5, 5 foot, somewhere in there. I don't know, but needless to say, it's about this high. If you can see that, it's right here. So there's still certain spots here whenever I mow, like there's a lot of different weeds and stuff that are still coming back, but they seem to be less and less every year the more I keep this mowed up. So like I said, normally this first mowing I usually let it get a little bit taller. A lot of that too is because the fields out here are usually so wet from the spring thaw and stuff like that. Usually I can't get out here to do anything just because the fields are in such bad shape. I could get out here and do stuff, but I would just rip everything up. I'm trying not to do that. So if you're wanting an idea of what my channel is going to eventually hopefully be, there's going to be mowing the fields and stuff like this with the tractor. You'll see the RK tractor, the RK55 here that we're in now. I also have a small Kubota BX series, and I know some people might say, oh wait, why didn't you get your big tractor as a Kubota or your small tractor as a RK so that you have all the same brand? Well, sponsored by anybody. Hint, hint, RK and Kubota. But right now, I just have what I have. Like the Kubota I had bought in my old property, I had a little over, right around 5 acres. That Kubota BX worked perfect for that little 5 acres. It was only probably about 2 acres that I needed to mow with grass, and then the rest was just woods and stuff that I would do some work in occasionally. But I'm trying to watch here on this pine tree and not get too close. I usually try and leave some grass underneath this pine tree. The deer do like to come lay underneath that, so I try and leave some of that there. I did mow some of it down, but I try and leave a lot of it there for them, so that's about as close as we'll get to that pine tree now.